This is a really pretty little song. I Will Follow You Into the Dark, Death Cab for Cutie. This delicate little sound is created by capoing at the fifth. So a lot of times if a song is capoed, it's not that important to do it. This one, when you come to the fifth fret, it significantly changes the sound of the guitar. So for us to play this song, the campfire version of I'll Follow You, we are going to capo it. So you definitely got to have a capo for this, but you don't need the capo to practice it. We're going to do a very simple strum. I'm going to play this with a pick. Now, you can make it sound a little more authentic by using your fingers. That's how it's really played. But we're trying to simplify it right now and just make it something that's very simple to play. I may get to a longer lesson sometime about that particular finger picking pattern. It's not really very complicated. But important sound that we're looking for here is bass notes hit on the first beat of the measure. And that's hearing the bass note on beat 1 and then a nice solid strum on beat 2. Bum, dat. Has almost a kind of country sound. Now this has a little bit of a swing feel to it. It's not really swing, but it's just got this lilting feel. That's the term I guess I was looking for there. Because it just moves along really nicely, you know, like over the cobblestones in the creek. So, so what I'm doing there very slowly is just hitting the first bass note, hopefully clean and solid, and then a down up on the second beat, and then another bass note on the third beat hit much lighter than the first one. Now, you could hit it the same. Doesn't sound as good. That third bass note needs to be in the background when the chords are changing quickly. So, now we also have some passing bass notes. Oh wait, let me finish the strum. So, after the second bass note, you want to hear an up, down, up. Very slowly, I'm just playing an A minor chord here. Now, that gets a little more of the chord than you really hear on the recording, because he picks it a little bit more focused on just certain strings. But again, we're looking at the campfire version. So, bass, down, up, bass, up, down, up. Then it changes chords, goes to C. To F. We really need the barred Fs in here. Now the next C has a passing bass note connecting it to A minor. So your second finger covers the second fret of the fifth string. And you don't worry about the fact that it just came off of the fourth string. You don't have to recover that note. This chord is usually called C with B in the bass. Back to A minor, then to C, and a couple of Gs. No big deal going on there. We're looking at the intro, which is also the chorus to the song. Second time around, we've got A minor to C, straight to G. Oh no, to E, I'm sorry. And then A minor with a descending bass note, with hitting the G in the bass on our way to the F chord, and then something kind of cool happens. Because of the impact of the chord he's about to play, this F minor, which is of course done by playing an F major but lifting your second finger off so that it resembles an E minor shape of a chord. That chord is a really dramatic change in the tonality of the song by using a minor chord on chord 4 in the key, which is what's happening right there. So that F minor, it wouldn't have the impact if we did this. You'd need to hear it on the first beat. Now something else he does, a really cool thing to do when you have longer A minor, C's and A minors, which is now what's coming up in the verse to the song, is on the C, alternate the bass from the 5th string 3rd fret to the 6th string 3rd fret, but by moving that finger. Now there's a lot of people that like to do this using 2 fingers on those notes. I don't. I like you to move your 3rd finger. Learn to do that. Then you can keep up the same bass pattern on A minor. Okay, the bass notes are really up to you. Again, for our campfire version, we're not worried about playing it note for note the way Ben did it. But that's really all you have to do to play through this. Now, the chord progression gets a little strange. At the end of the 3rd verse, there's kind of an extra line tacked on in the blackest of rooms when he's singing that. And you just have an A minor to F. And he's holding this falsetto way out on that F for like 4 measures of F. So, if you're going to sing this and you want to sing it exactly the way it went, you got to add that in. So again, that comes at the end of the 3rd verse. Now at the end of the last chorus, it really just has a reprise or repeat of the last line. So the last chorus finishes lands back to the F and the F minor, and just tacks on, just repeating the last line, I will follow you into the dark. So that's most of what you need to know to play this. I think I should be able to follow along the chart that I have there attached to this lesson. And yep, that's it. Oh, that's not it. Thank you. I knew I had to hear one more thing and I had to mention it to you. Something you can do on the G chords to make it sound a little bit more like the album. In these strums, there are, you hear the higher notes of the chord. Like on the A minor, you hear the high E. On the C, you hear the high E. On the G, if you play it with my standard fingering, which is using your second, third, and fourth fingers, the melody note you hear up there is this high G. That's not exactly what happens. He plays the G, with the highest note being the D at the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Now, there's a bunch of different ways you could make this happen. The easiest one, well, let me talk about maybe 2 of them. One is you could play the G with the 4-finger G. Being careful when you strum to try not to get to the 1st string, to keep that strum a little shorter, not this. See, that is not the sound you want. So if you play the 4-finger G here, we're trying to get the 2nd string in the melody. Okay? It's done mostly by your right hand then, hitting those, strumming so you're not playing the 1st string. Another possibility though is play the G the normal way, move your 4th finger to the 2nd string, like right, I know we're not doing close-ups in the campfire songs, but I've got my 3rd finger on the 2nd string at the 3rd fret. I'm also going to put it on a little sloppy and let it touch the 1st string, so the 1st string is dead. So I'm muting the 1st string by putting my left hand, my 4th finger, not on flat like that, but by letting it bend down a little bit like that, so that it's lightly touching the 4th string. So so there are times that you intentionally want to mute notes with your left hand. Now, again, intentionally is the key modifier there, because unintentionally muted notes are usually bad. Anyway, so to get a little bit more of the authentic sound in there, when it goes to the G's, I guess it'd be at the end of the 1st line of the intro in particular is where you'd hear this. The A minor, now this G. But again, see, that sounds a little different than if I did this. Here's the G. Again, there we go. Not necessarily the sound we want, but for the campfire version, any G will do. You can play it as a bar, you can play it as 2 fingers, you can play it as 1 finger if you're just barely learning G chords, the ukulele version. So, which of course be a C chord up here. Okay, I've rambled on enough about a really neat song by Death Cab for Cutie, and fun song to work on around the campfire. You should have enough information there to piece it all together yourself. I heavily recommend getting the album, listening to it, and strumming along with them, because that is the way it will sound the best, and you'll you'll progress into being a smoother guitar player the more you play along with other people. That's part of my whole philosophy here with these campfire versions, is you want to be able to play along with other people and stay with them. So anyway, that's it for the look at our Death Cab for Cutie song today.